So when you in college, man, that game that stick out to me the most when they turn you down that field. You know what I'm saying? On a drive, man. Walk us through what happened before that and just give us a walk through that whole situation right there.
The crazy thing, we was playing Akron, and my mother's my uncle picked my mother up and drove her to the game, Akron, Ohio. Mm-hmm. So my mother's actually at that game. Mm-hmm. So, and the thing I remember about that game the most is something that I always carried. So I remember when I used to play, right? Mm-hmm. You know how everybody used to do all the stuff. You know, you hoop, people pull their drop sauce, whatever. Back in the day, try to look sweet. Yeah. Every time I did that, it backfired, bro. Right, yeah. Like, every time I did that, it backfired. Right, yeah. So I remember the game before, everything going sweet, right? I'm in the Heisman Trophy, but somebody had poked me in my eye the week before in the game. So I remember the trainer, the equipment guy at Marshall was like, hey, I'm going to get you a shield. Mm-hmm. And he got me this, like, tinted shield. So it looks sweet. It looks sweet, right? But that ain't me. They ain't never been me, Bone. They ain't never been me. Yeah. So I put the shield on, and I go through the warm-ups. Right. And something say, man, take this shit off. Right, you know, man, this ain't. Right. And I remember taking it off, right? Mm-hmm. And I remember hurting my leg that game. It was like the 6-7 play in the game. We was up 7-0. We driving. We should be a blowout, right? This should be an easy win. We should walk in there. Right. Everything about this got 47-10 all over it, right? So we just need to go in there and play. And we go in there, and everything felt normal. But I remember that part. I was like, why you doing that? Like, you been... stay in your lane. Right. And I was like, let me take this off. Right. And I took it off. And to this day, I still think that's why I broke my leg in that game, because I was getting out of my lane, really. And I can feel it. Like, I feel that too, because I know, I remember what I told myself before all that happened. And then when it happened, like, you could see it. It was like we was up 7-0, I believe. Going in the drive, going to throw a skinny post on the left side. And the running back cut the back and threw the A-gap, and he dove over top of the running back. And I was playing it. So when he landed, I heard it crack. Pop, I can hear it. And if you look at it on the tape, you can hear it. Mm-hmm. If you see the TV copy, you'll hear it pop. And it went, and I went down, and I'm thinking I'm going to get up just like everything else. Mm-hmm. And I got up, but something was wrong, because I was like, damn, what is that? You know what I mean? Like, what is that on my leg? Because I've never been hurt before that. Right. Never been injured really in my life. And that was the first time. It was like, man, what's... And then I left, tried to play one more series, came back. They was like, man, you got to go get an x-ray. Right. So as I'm going to get an x-ray, they running me in the ambulance. I hear the Akron guy tell them, make sure he don't get back for the game. Right. Like, I'm coming around the corner, I hear him say, whatever you do, don't rush him back. Make sure he misses this game. Right. And I heard him, so I got out the ambulance. Right. So I was like, oh, no, I ain't getting in there. Right, yeah, my plan is to get x-rays, show that it's not broke, and I'll be back. Exactly. So I get out there, they get a Curtbone, and he's like, hey, we got this little hospital center a mile up the road. Mm-hmm. We can go get the x-rays then. So they had this Curtbone, security, they take us. I mean, we getting police escort, we hitting 100 on the highway just to get to the... Right. And our team doctor, I never forget him looking at it. Because as we go on, another guy that was on my team, he did something to his wrist, so he had to come with me to get x-rayed. And on our way to the hospital, I know something wrong. Because I'm looking at my leg, there's no muscle there. Right. Ain't nothing there but bone. So whatever they going to tell me ain't going to be good.
No good news.
So he looked at it and was like, yeah, it's broke. It's snapped. He showed me the line. And I was like, damn. Man, I done blew this thing. Because we had a good mob there in Marshall. We had a good team, man, that was legit. And we felt as though we could beat anybody. And we was excited. We wanted to play anybody. We was trying to play number one in the country. We'll come to your place.
Yeah, I felt good about
We felt good about where we was at as a team. We knew how good we were. And I felt as though I blew it. And just once something hit me, we come back. I'm thinking like, man, get ready for, the draft. This thing over. And something hit me. It was like, man, you could play.
Right.
Because we left 7-0 and we get back. We on our way back. I'm like, find the game on the radio. And they like, 21-7. The Akron Zips are surprising the Marshall. I was like, we losing.
Right.
I was like, how we losing like that? We
Right.
losing to Akron?
Right.
And I jumped, and I get back there, and once I got there, I remember seeing they sideline, and they all was turning, looking at me, and that energy hit me. I was like, I'm about to play.
Right.
But nobody knew. The only one knew at the time was the doctor. So I remember going in the back, was like, can you shoot it? Give me a painkiller. He was like, it's bone. We can't do nothing with bone. You got about this much bone holding your tibia together. He was like, it's 3/4 of the way cracked. So, and I just left out the locker room and heard the energy, went to the sideline. I only think the head coach knew at the time that it was broke. I don't think nobody knew it was broke.
Right.
And I get back in the huddle, and I remember my receivers. I think it was Josh Davis, Daenerys Murray. One of them was like, man, where the hell you been?
Right.
I was like, my bad, let's go.
Right.
And then Shulo, who was like my left tackle, who came in with me, he was like, something ain't right. He just lost it in the huddle. Nobody fucking touch him. Make sure nobody touch him. He went down the line, looked at all the linemen. He was like, let's go. And we just played. So this was before Twitter and all that.
Right,
so
yeah,
before all that.
Yeah.
So we ain't thinking nothing about it. And we wake up the next day and it's everywhere. So that's really how we were just trying to get a win, Bone. Like I always tell people, we were just playing
Y'all
ball
walk
the
him
way
down?
that we knew. We almost got him.
Oh, yeah.
I chased him, Bone.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I got him. We got up top, but I ran out of gas, Bone.
Oh, yeah.
I ran out of gas, but
Yeah, okay, yeah.
that moment, though, that I got with them, that was real, though.
Right,
it was
yeah.
real with all of them because I never told them pick me up. I never said nothing to nobody. It was just a real moment. A real
That sounded
moment.
like a movie, man. That's like that was a movie. That was some that's it. That was touching. They showing that. It was like had you glued to TV, like, man, this is crazy, man.
Yeah, it's so much into it, too, that happened that people don't know.
Right.
There's so much into that whole situation that happened that people don't know. And then we woke up the next day, and it was everywhere.
It was everywhere.
It was everywhere.
Okay, man. You do your thing in Marshall. You put a show on, man. Now you the number 7 pick in the draft. You're going to Jacksonville, Florida. What's going through your mind, man? What's hitting your mind when it was real? You was down there on their campus like that.
Well, going into the draft, I knew I was going to 3 teams. It was going to be Baltimore, Carolina, or Jacksonville.
Okay.
I knew through my visits I wouldn't make it past that.
Those done.
And I knew going through Baltimore that it probably was going to be just. I thought I was going to Baltimore with the 7th pick.
Right.
I thought I was going to Baltimore with the 7th pick. And they pretty much told me, hey, we trying to work out a deal, be ready for something to happen at 7. Because they was like 9 at the time.
Right, okay.
So I knew 7 was probably going to be my spot.
Right.
7 was going to probably be my, now what team I didn't know.
Where it's going to go at.
And if you remember at the draft, that was that year where the teams ran out of time. Remember that?
Yeah.
They ran out of time at the draft. So once this happened, I just knew the area codes for my phone. So once I get to 7, the time get like to 45 seconds. I'm like, why my phone ain't ring yet? I'm in the green room, we looking around. So I'm just waiting on my phone to ring. And I'm about to do an interview. And they about to do an interview. And they like, hold on, we'll take a commercial break. He's like, we'll come right back after this break. As soon as he said that, my phone rang. And it was the 904 area code. So we didn't see, I knew the time was out, but we didn't see everything because we was in the green room. And it seemed like by the time I got my name called to go down to Tagley Boo to shake his hand, it was like on the 12th pick. You remember the pick stock going like that.
Yeah.
First time ever I seen picks go like that.
Yeah.
So I ended up being the 7th pick, but it seemed like by the time I got to shake Paul Tagley Boo hand, it was like the 11th pick, something like that. So I didn't really know where anybody went, nothing. But nobody ended up really went nowhere what had really happened. I knew they ran out of time, but I didn't even really know the rules then.
And Jacksonville, you got the keys at the rookie. You
yeah.
So how did that work out?
I get there. So Mark Brunell was still there. So when I first get there, Mark Brunell's there, and I get there OTAs, but I end up being a holdout. So my rookie year going into training camp, I wasn't there the whole training camp because I And, well, they end up holding me out for 21 days. However you want to put out, they held me out or I held out for 21 days because we couldn't get the contract right.
Trying to get that bag right.
Yeah. But I still think it was done purposely because when it all said and done, they didn't want a quarterback controversy. They didn't even really want me there. They wanted it to be like this. So, and when I found out everything, because it was like, man, I was, at a point I was willing to just make it somewhere close to where it's, I'm ready to go. I'm in the league. I'm ready to go. I'm like, man, let's go.
Right.
And then that's when I really found out the business element of it. There is a business side of it. And I just didn't think they wanted me there at that time because what they was offering me, they knew I wouldn't take that, and they knew that would.
So you saying they drafted you, but they didn't want you at the time because they were still trying to get the most out of Mark?
No,
what you mean they?
I just didn't want I didn't think they wanted to have a quarterback controversy in training camp.
Okay.
Whereas though everyone's looking at him this day, looking at me, who's doing this, who's doing. And I was cool with Mark, you know what I mean? So it was good, but it's just that's what I found out after. Now at the time I didn't know that. At the time I'm wondering why they drafting me and gonna offer me something what they know that's way less than I should take. So why would they be doing that?
Right.
I guess that's how it was back in. Sometimes it happened like that. So.
Okay. So with all the hoopla about the black quarterback in the NFL and all that, when you finally got a chance to play, was that any extra pressure on you or?
Oh yeah, because it was different. That thing just changing.
Right.
It was still different when I was coming out because it wasn't a lot of black pocket guys.
Right.
Like if you hear more guys explain, like me, more people will say, "Man, yeah, he can sling it, but he can't run. He's slow." No, I was just a slow black quarterback. I was never a slow quarterback. You know what I mean? I was just slow compared to Mike, Vince Young, Randall and them. They played different than me. I was a real pocket guy, but I was faster than all the people that I knew that I would train with. So I knew I wasn't slow. I was like, hey, I'm faster than all these jokers. But I think the fact that I was an African American guy, black slow, that's a difference.
Yeah, you black slow. Yeah. So they finally get that paperwork right. You out there on the field and all that, man. What was the first largest purchase you made when you got that check? What was the first largest purchase?
The first thing I bought really was my mother house. First thing I bought was really my mother house because I had done some things before I actually signed my contract with like Reebok and everything. So I was okay. I was good at that point. So the first thing in my mind was just, Bone, I really just wanted to get my mother a dining room, a house with a dining room. So I remember growing up on the Cosbys, right? And they had that episode, remember that Thanksgiving episode where they went in the dining room, cut the turkey?
Right.
Man, I remember watching that. I never even knew what that room existed.
Right, yeah.
I remember asking my mother, what room is that?
Right, yeah.
They got a room to eat in?
Yeah.
So everything in my mind was simple. Those are the things that drive me. Like little thinking, man, one day I'm going to get a box maximum. One day I'm going to get a room where you can eat in. I didn't even know it was called the dining room.
Right.
You know, I didn't even know that, but I just remember watching the Cosbys, watching them in suits cutting the turkey. And I was like, damn, I want to do that one day. I want to see that. I never was in a house that had that little room.
Right.
So I didn't even know what it was called.
Right.
So it was just like those simple things. When I'm always talking to people, I would tell that's the things I thought about.
Right.
Really getting my mother a house that had that room, and I didn't even know the name of it, which ended up being a dining room.
Right.
And just the simple, just box Maximas. I ain't really want the Benz and all that.
Right.
You know, right then I was just dreaming of a box Chevy. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So like that, it was just those little thoughts,
little things
that would just keep me going and push me to get to where I need to get.
Out the park, niggas know me. Curtbone, little homie. All days, yeah. Been a road.
Thank you for watching Changing Jewels on Curtbone TV. If you like the jewels that we are dropping, subscribe, hit the notification, and share with some friends. And I'll see you on the next episode of Changing Jewels, Curtbone TV.